Welcome to Nerds to Men. Again, this week, Nugget joins me.
Thanks for having me back, Brad.
Yes. Like me and Cameo have like this whole routine every week we do it. So I'm sorry if I.
So what do I do at that point?
Like you have to say something like real cocky and arrogant, and like.
No, I don't. In front of a camera, like I rewatched the video, the podcast last week.
Yeah.
And I had like a real like, oh man, I'm like Ricky Bobby. Like I don't know what to do with my hands when I'm being videotaped.
Yeah.
So just
I was
keeping
that way.
them at my side is what I try to.
Yeah.
So I can't be really braggadocious and talk about myself. I'm not.
Cameo's a sweet boy. I kid. Cameo.
He's a special man. I love Cameo.
I do too.
I think he gets. I think Cam. I think you get crapped on too much.
By me or by the
by
world?
Everybody.
Really? Yeah.
By everybody we work with, and I love Cam.
See, I do too. I like Cameo. Really is a genuinely nice guy. Like, like really nice guy, and he's. I don't think I've ever seen him do a bad thing, and like really,
yeah, right.
And we've been like out of town before, and all kinds of places where if he wanted to get into some debauchery, he could. But no, he's a good guy. He really is. Which is why I don't understand why me and him hang out. Because like me and all my friends like to do effed up stuff and get effed up. But we say we don't curse. That's the only thing. Yeah. No, but yeah. So Cameo, you worked with him almost as long. Well, probably actually cumulatively, me and you worked together longer. Back in the day. But then I left probably I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago now.
And then came back and then left. And then came back and then left.
That was the funny thing is because I think the last time that I told you, I was like, hey man, I'm leaving, and today's pretty much my last day. I think you were like, nah.
Yeah, I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Yeah. And that was it. That was really the last time.
I haven't seen you back, but it was like, yeah, right.
So
okay.
like the next day where you like a pet who had like lost its owner or something. Where
I was just waiting by the door.
Yeah. Like
he really isn't coming back.
Well, because there was the first time, there was like a few times that we had, and like I think after the first time though, I was like, let's not have a going away party this time because
everybody would like go out to I don't know to a bar and like goodbye, Brad.
Yeah. So we did that, and then what happened was at the last second, a guy who works there, I'll just leave names out, but you'll know exactly who I'm talking about because I was like his assistant for a long time after that, but. He called me in because I thought I was told by somebody else you're going to get fired because you're not going to go because I wanted off of this show that I was on.
Yeah,
and things had just gone downhill, and I wanted to do stuff, other things like I didn't mind being funny and all that, but I also had I wanted to be taken seriously. You know what I mean? And they just wanted somebody who was just going to be goofy, so which is fine. That's not how I imagined the rest of my radio career going. But but like at the last second, somebody came in and they were like, well, what do you really want to do here? And I was like, this is what I'd like to do. And so he's like, all right, tell you what, I don't want you to leave. You can stay and do this. And I was like, sweet. Like I thought for sure because I had actually found another job like at another radio station.
Oh, yeah.
Because I really did. They had made me think,
Brad Arnold.
Yeah. They were like, if you don't want to work on our show, they're going to fire you. And I was like, okay, I guess, I mean, it just is what it is then. I'll go find another job. I mean, that was the one good thing, I guess, about the broadcasting school was I had contacts at other stations. So, but like I said, he made me an offer that I couldn't refuse, and it actually worked out great. So I was like, yay. So so then everybody else was like, oh, you're still here. Well, can I get back that going away?
Remember all those shots I bought you at Hudson's?
Yeah. A lot of the sales girls told me goodbye in a special way. And I bet they regret that.
Yeah. He's still here.
Yeah. Now I just like to pop in and I'm still like, what's up?
Am I back? Am I not?
Yeah. There is people up there that I kind of like to, like when I do come visit, I kind of like to let them wonder if I'm coming back.
Is he bad?
Yeah. Because, one of them I'm sure is like, I can't believe they're going to let him come back.
You should just pop in every once in a while with a box with like a lamp and like desk materials in it.
Yeah.
And come in and set it up and then walk out with it.
Yes.
Is he working here?
Yeah.
I'm very confused.
That would be great. That would be awesome. Well, the reason that you are here and Cameo is not is we've talked about this. Cameo's talked about this. Mm-hmm. He's not really into horror movies.
Yeah.
And so the last time you were on, we talked about our favorite Rob Zombie movies. But I wanted to open it up because we love all kinds of horror movies. And I almost thought about like making it like zombies, vampire movie, like breaking it down. And I'm kind of regretting that I didn't because of the ones I had to cut off the list.
Yeah.
So first of all, I just want to ask, like, my love of horror movies goes back to when I was a little kid. Like when I was really young, my mom used to read me Stephen King books.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I think she would leave out certain things or, curse words or definitely, some of the more adult material. Mm-hmm. But she would read me Stephen King books. And so there were certain Stephen King movies that would come on TV that I was allowed to watch as a youngster. And then I watched other stuff growing up that from a younger age. And she always was like, I wish you wouldn't like tell people that because it makes me look like.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it wasn't anything bad. I mean, there was one time that we went to go see. I think it was a Stephen King movie, but it was like they were cat people,
Sleepwalkers,
and like the mom and the son
and they were
like,
incestuous. Yeah.
And so like me and my mom went to go see this movie. So we're
that's uncomfortable.
Yeah, we're sitting there like, this isn't right.
Yeah.
This is awful. This is not the, it might have been a great movie if you were watching it with anyone other than your mom.
Yeah, it's like watching Game of Thrones with your sister. It's
yeah. So it didn't that didn't make the list.
Yeah.
So, but like I say, she went and took me to see a lot of the movies that are on my list. And that was another thing is a lot of the movies on my list I've liked since I was a kid. So, is that the same for you? Or were you like a big horror fan early, or how'd that go for you?
Yeah, I mean, I was a latchkey kid, mm-hmm. And we had a scrambler box, so we got all the premium channels. So I would watch pretty much anything I wanted,
right,
including the Spice Channel.
Yeah,
like I had a lot of friends that way in the neighborhood that would come over. Hey, Josh, can we come over? So yeah, I pretty much watched anything I wanted. And my mom, we had a pretty open dialogue about everything. So if I wanted to watch, the only time she ever cut me off was for some reason Predator. She wouldn't let me watch Predator as a kid.
That's weird.
She let me watch like anything else.
Yeah.
Hellraiser, all those movies. Predator was like, no, you can't watch it. I ended up being able to watch it on DVD or on VHS.
Right.
Back in the day. But yeah, I just was able to watch whatever I wanted growing up.
Well, here's a movie that people watching, they'll see, but if you're at home, I'm holding up The Exorcist. This didn't make our lists.
No.
But I feel like it really should be on a list somewhere because it's a great movie. But I was not allowed to watch it. That was like off limits. All the things I was allowed to watch because we were Southern Baptist.
Yeah. The whole satanic movie thing is probably
yeah. So this was definitely not allowed, and so I think I even rented it in high school, and I brought it home to watch it like in my room. And my mom walked in, and was like, "No, you don't bring that into my house." So so I watched it like I think for the first time 2 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, "Man, that's a great one," but I don't know. It's just one that it didn't make our list, but I thought it should get an honorable mention at least.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a great one. I think they re-released it, I don't know how many years later, in theaters, and I went and saw it then with extra footage and stuff. And it was really just kind of a money grab, but it was cool to see
there was a few that were like that I just had to leave off the list that I thought were amazing movies. Reanimator.
Mm-hmm. It's a great movie.
So because like we could have like a 2-hour podcast and do like the top 100.
When you sent me the idea of breaking them down into categories, I told you I started with 50 movies.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was wondering.
I had 50 movies and I got it down to 40, 30, 20, and the last 15 was hard.
See, and here's the thing too, is we could do this show again a year from now today, and my list might be completely different, but not quite so different. So I'm curious too, out of the ones that you gave me, your top 10 that we'll go through here in just a minute, are there any that are any of these the first horror movie you ever saw?
Yes.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. So that you'll have to notate to me when you come to that one.
Yeah,
because it's going to be hard for me to remember which was the first. But there was some others that I noticed. Like I had originally, I was like some that I scratched off, but I put on like Gremlins. Mm-hmm. I love Gremlins. Like I mean, I've got the tattoo. But I feel like I'll put that on my Christmas list. Yeah. So
like I love Shaun of the Dead. But is it considered a horror movie?
Yeah, that was another one I thought of earlier. Like if we had made a top 5 zombie lists, like 28 Days Later would have been on there. Mm-hmm. Shaun of the Dead. So that makes sense. Like another one. Oh, yeah, because I was like, Idle Hands. I love that movie.
It's a great movie. Yeah,
I'm gonna watch it every time it comes on because it's just stupid stoner.
Seth Green, Devon Sawa. Is it Devon Sawa?
Yeah. And it was really. I thought like there was the Scary Movie franchises and stuff that were the the spoofs, but like this was just its own thing, and it was hilarious. I thought.
Yeah,
but a great one. But I mean, this is more of like is this more of like a horror movie list and some of them like Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, that's a Halloween movie.
Yeah, like if we were going to make a list of what you should watch at Halloween, Hocus Pocus goes on.
A Nightmare Before Christmas is another
stuff
one.
like that. Mm-hmm. So if some of those are not on there and you might be like, what? But and then there's some like I know one personal favorite of yours is what was a Serbian film, right? You love that movie, right? Like
Dad, I don't want to get on any sort of list or anything. There's a movie called A Serbian Film, and I don't think you ever watched it.
I no, because you and somebody else told me about it. Heather, yeah, and I was like, I don't want to see that. With my own eyes, I've heard enough.
Okay, if you're interested, there's a wiki page on it. You can find out everything, but it's basically the worst thing you've ever seen the worst film, the worst concepts ever. And I described it to Brad.
Yes,
and I had a copy. I
with
watched
spoilers.
It. Yeah,
yeah.
Spoilers. Yeah, it's pretty awful.
Yeah. So
not my favorite movie.
Yeah,
but it's definitely.
I mean, there are some people who are into those really brutal like horror movies.
It's a shock horror movie, like the worst possible stuff you could think of.
Clockwork Orange. That didn't end up on your list nowhere.
I don't know if I consider it horror.
Yeah, I don't know. It's horrific in times, but yeah, you're right. It might. Like American Psycho, another one. That one didn't make it on there, but I would say that's horror.
Yeah.
And I would probably say it's like 11 or 12 or something, It's But Teen Wolf?
Teen Wolf is a comedy. Yeah, that's a
But it wasn't really scary.
Of beer.
Yeah. Donnie Darko?
I don't know. I would consider Donnie Darko like sci-fi.
This one didn't make it. Cabin in the Woods.
I love Cabin in the Woods.
Me too. Are you starting to regret not putting it on there?
There's a lot of stuff I regret that just didn't. The way I based my list is like the way it made me feel at the time, and the way I thought about it, days
later
after, and in the way I could go back and rewatch it and transport into that same time, and of when I watched it.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, because like I say, some of these are great movies that we're talking about that didn't make the list, like Exorcist. A lot of people would be like, that's number 1 for me. Aliens.
Yeah, like I don't have Psycho on my list, but a lot of people will consider that one of the best horror movies ever made.
Yeah, so, but it also is how you relate to it, how it made you feel. Here's one more question I want to ask you before we deep dive into these lists. Do horror movies still scare you?
Modern, contemporary ones, yeah.
See, I don't think I get scared by movies anymore.
Really?
The last time I thought I got a little creepy feeling was the House was it House on Haunted Hill? No, what was the TV show on Netflix?
Oh, Hill House Haunting.
Yeah, Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah.
That one I did get creeped out
because of all the stuff in the background.
Yeah,
that is cool. Yeah,
I get. Did you see Hereditary?
Hereditary is I was gonna say is the last time I was. Because I went and saw it in the theater by myself.
Oh my god!
And I the drive home was it was all dark outside, and I was like, what did I just witness?
Yeah. So
it was a total mind F. Like, it's a great movie.
And see, with me, like with horror films too anymore, it's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of like how I feel about bands now too. Like, you have to be a huge band or just a really big horror movie for me to go watch it anymore.
So nothing like trying to think of it, like It Follows, Babadook.
Oh, I loved it. I loved both of those movies. Oculus,
The Witch.
Wasn't a big fan of The Witch.
Don't Breathe. Any of these like modern kind of
Don't Breathe. Some of those are good, but they didn't scare me.
Yeah.
I do like when they're. I would say when some of them are a little more clever than others. I do enjoy that.
Like Hereditary.
Yeah.
Midsommar.
Did you see Midsommar? I haven't seen it yet. Was it good?
Yeah, it's completely different from Hereditary. It's like a different kind of... It's a trippy movie, not a scary movie.
Well, let's get into your list.
Okay.
You started off with number 10, and
I
it's
don't even want to.
it's one that I actually was like, I love this. Let the Right One In.
Yeah.
And so was that was the
Swedish version.
The Swedish version. Okay. I was trying to remember if it was German or Swedish. Now I'm holding up Let Me In, which was a remake with Chloe Grace Moretz. But that was okay. That was a good one. But the original one,
was great.
Amazing.
The pool scene in the original is what did it for me. That scene is with the bullies and all that. And, that's why I love that film so much. The original.
Yeah, it was that. Oh man,
they kind of toned it down for the American version.
They did tone it down, and that's why I don't think it was as good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's super brutal in the Swedish version.
Yeah, so definitely watch the Swedish version because it's a great one, and it's I mean, I don't know, are we spoiling kind of, or I don't think it's spoiling to really tell about the setup of the movie, right? Because it's been out for a while.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a vampire movie.
Yeah, it's a little girl. She's roughly like 400 years old, and she will go and get these humans to kind of take care of her. And it's a kind of a love story between two kids, but one of them is 400 years old, and one of them is immortal.
Yeah. I always said, like, sometimes the vampire movies get away with a little bit of weirdness because basically wasn't the what was the one where they sparkled? Twilight, which isn't on any of our lists, but is it Edward? Was he the vampire in that?
Edward, and Jacob was the werewolf.
So Edward, if if we made a movie about a 30-year-old who went to high school to date high school chicks, people would be like, this is not allowed. But if you're a vampire, it's okay.
Totally, and you sparkle, it's totally okay.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
And you have those smoldering looks that Pattinson have. Yeah.
I guess after you live a couple hundred years, they're like, what are you gonna do? All the other people look like teenagers. What are you gonna do?
I don't know. Date more in your age range. Maybe date older women. I don't know.
Yeah, you could find you a hot 500-year-old that. I'm sure. So, but let the right.
It was her smell. Remember? I don't know. You never saw the Twilight movies.
I think I saw the first one, but yeah, I wouldn't. I'm not a fan. Are you a fan?
No, I've never.
And I wouldn't judge you if you were.
I know. I know enough about the movies to know what they're about, but I've never seen a full one.
My 10th horror film is an old one, and I don't know if you've ever seen it. You might have. Mask of the Red Death.
I have not seen that.
That's with Vincent Price.
Oh.
And it's based, I think, on an Edgar Allan Poe story. And it's just old and creepy. I think in the book, he was more satanic in the book. Like the guy was like, a satanic guy and all that. And it's just, man. I'm
writing that down. Mask of the Red Death.
Yeah. So, it takes place in this castle where the Red Death is like going around killing all these other villages and stuff.
I love Vincent Price movies.
Man, yes.
House on Haunted Hill.
Yes. So
he's 13 Ghosts, right? The original.
I'd have to look it up.
Well, but I think he plays like the millionaire.
Yeah.
In that one.
This one is one that I saw probably in the last 10 years for the first time. But it was around Halloween time, and I think it was on Netflix or something. And I was like, you know what, Vincent Price? Hell yeah.
I'm in, yeah.
Yeah, and I was just, as much as I watched it, I loved it. And so, I probably was baked, but whatever.
Sure.
It's
What was Vincent Price on Batman? Wasn't he on Batman? He was a character, I think. The original Adam West.
Was he?
Egghead.
Was he?
Yeah.
I don't remember that at all.
Maybe I'm wrong.
No. That doesn't mean that you're
like
wrong.
The Ryan Merriman thing. I called him Sean Merriman last
Oh,
time.
yeah. Well, I messed that up too. And I think it was actually when you left, I was like sitting there. I was like, Ryan Merriman.
Yeah, he's a Yellow Jacket. We should know that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Like I say, he was a lot younger than me. I don't know how much younger, but probably about 5 or 6 years, I think. Let's see. Okay, number 9 for you. This is a movie I don't think I've seen. Event Horizon.
Event Horizon, yeah.
Tell me about this one.
Okay, well, it's basically The Shining in space.
Ooh,
so
I'm interested.
I'm more interested in like the lore of the movie. Okay, so Paul W.S. Anderson, who does for the most part terrible movies, pretty much. He did Resident Evil, he did Mortal Kombat. Those were kind of we grew up with them, so they're fine.
Right.
But other than that, he doesn't do great movies. He did this and shot a long movie, and to cut it back from NCA, what's it called, NC-17. Down to R, they had to cut out 30 minutes of the movie.
Okay.
And basically they cut out this. There's a blood orgy in the movie. They call it the blood orgy.
Right.
And they had to cut out a whole bunch of the movie. And there's a description online. You can find out what happens in the scenes that were cut out and everything.
Right.
But it's pretty shocking, the stuff that's in the movie.
Right.
And they had to cut all that out. But the thing that's interesting about it is they can't find the original footage. They can't find it anywhere. They found some of it in a salt mine in like Transylvania.
Oh yeah,
like seriously, they went to go find it and re-release the director's cut.
Right,
and they couldn't find it, so they found some of it, but it was before DVD.
Yeah,
so it was VHS and was all destroyed.
Really?
So there's this footage, and that interests me. Is like there's this footage floating around this original copy of the movie's shocking alone without the extra footage.
Right.
So what happens is they're in space. They go into a black hole, Event Horizon, and it ends up being like hell or purgatory or something. So, and they bring it back onto the ship.
Oh, okay.
Nice. And it's like Hellraiser in space.
Oh, okay. That's cool. I don't know why. Who did you say is the stars of this movie?
Sam Neill, Lawrence Fishburne.
Oh,
those are the most notable. People in it.
And so, was it creepy, scary? I mean, it's not like a slasher type movie, but
it's a sci-fi horror movie.
Okay.
It starts out like you think it's going to be sci-fi, and then there's these things. There's a killer, and Sam Neill. Well, I don't want to get in. I don't want to, spoil it for anybody, but it turns out to be pretty gory and sadistic, and it's awesome.
All right. Well, we'll go to my number 9. Number 9 for me. There's a lot of my list I'm just gonna spoiler alert. It's gonna be vampire movies. They're my favorite. I just love vampire movies for some reason. I don't know.
I think I only have 2 on there.
Well, and this one, I kind of will get to the root of my vampire love here in a few, but this one is Dracula, and it was the one, not the original one, which was great.
The Nosferatu, or
well, not the oh man, blanking on Bela Lugosi. It wasn't not that one, but I'm actually referring to the one that came. Gary Oldman was the Dracula in that one. I think is Johnny Depp in that one. I believe, yeah. And I'm blanking all now. Like you take all these notes, which is amazing, but I'm bad. I just kind of go.
Yeah, it's Keanu Reeves. It's not Johnny Depp.
Oh yeah, that's right, Keanu Reeves. Yeah, so it's on my list, and I'm just bombing it.
Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah, that's it. That's the name of it. So, but it was great. I was trying to remember who directed that one because it has I think
Coppola or something.
I think it was somebody famous like that. But just so you know, I don't have all the info on the movie, but I loved that version because I tried to read the book several times, and it's so hard to read.
It's probably pretty boring.
It is because
it jumps around, I'm sure, like the movie does.
Yeah, it jumps around, but it's a lot of like letters and stuff. And so I thought the way that they did it in the movie was better. So
tolerable, like you can.
Yeah.
It's
and then this Dracula and like the visuals and all was just amazing. So I really loved that one, the more recent Dracula, like you said, with Keanu Reeves and Winona Ryder. Was she in that one?
Probably. That sounds right to me.
Yeah. It's terrible. It's on my list like that. And I'm like, tell me about my movie. All right. Okay. So number 8. And this movie, for me, would have been higher, but I'm kind of just going to match up with you on these where we matched up.
Okay.
So both of us have the 1978 Halloween at number 8. And man, as far as the slasher films, that movie to me was the best of all of them.
Yeah.
Except for one, and that's your number one. We'll get to that later.
Okay.
But and actually my number one could be a slasher film too. But I don't know. Like that there was that time in the 70s where it was Halloween, and I felt like, you know, a lot of other movies kind of came after that. Like it opened up the door for some of the indie Halloween movies like TCM and different movies like that. Mm-hmm. So Halloween to me was one of those first ones that I was like, because Jason, the Friday the 13th, I kind of noticed that's another one that isn't on our lists at all.
Yeah, I like those movies and I'll watch them, but they're not really all that scary to me.
Yeah, and it's just not one of my favorites. Like, yeah.
I love Jason. I love the like his story and all that stuff, but it's just not. It's not as compelling as Michael Myers and The Shape and John
Michael
Carpenter's
Myers is just a little more creepy. And like, you know what I love about that movie is it's just suspenseful in ways. And then
like some of the like him sitting up or him just in the background of shots appearing or like the closet scene. All that stuff is. Like the long scene at the beginning through the bushes, and all that's incredible stuff.
Oh yeah, it was just a very well made film. And as far as it being a horror movie, I thought it was actually one of the scary ones when I was young. The music, the music's classic, but you know, and I think I read something somewhere where they were talking about how they screened that movie with no music. And people were like, it's not really that scary.
Yeah. I read that too.
And they put the music in, and people were like, oh my God.
We're both talking about the Halloween 9, right? With Busta Rhymes?
Yes.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah, and Sean Merriman.
Yeah. Well, Busta Rhymes, I mean, if you don't remember, he karate kicked Michael Myers.
Did he? I don't remember.
Tyra
that.
Banks was there.
Yeah.
It was a good movie.
Was it?
No.
It didn't make the list.
No.
Like some of these, there are some. Well, actually, we'll get to it. We'll talk about it later. But there's one on here that, like, I think there's every single movie that they made I kind of liked. But okay, so number 8 for us was Halloween. Number 7. Okay, this is a movie that I'm gonna admit to you I don't love. Like, I just never really got it that much as far as I didn't love it. But let's see. Hellraiser.
Hellraiser is my number 7.
Pinhead.
Doug Bradley, yes.
What about that one did you love?
Okay, again, I go back to when I first watched him. Mm-hmm. And this was 1987, so I was I think I watched it on VHS. So I would have been 8.
Right.
And I remember my stepdad got it and brought it home, put it in. We started watching it. I shouldn't have been watching it. And I didn't make it 30 minutes in before I was like, I'm out of here.
Really?
Yeah. And so when I got a little bit older, I revisited it and I was like, that's not that scary. But I was traumatized at the time. At 8 years old, I was like, oh, what did I just watch?
I have a friend that's his top favorite horror movie is Hellraiser. Some of the sequels, though, like they just made one recently.
Judgment here in Oklahoma.
Oh, did they really? Mm-hmm. Is that the one on Netflix?
Yes. Yeah.
Is that good? I haven't watched it.
No. They replaced Doug Bradley.
Yeah.
So it's not as good. Did you know there's 9 of those movies?
No, man. That's a lot. How many, like, there's like a whole bunch of Critters not Critters, Tremors movies.
Yeah,
I didn't
realize. A lot of Tremors movies. Yeah. And there's a new Critters, too. Critters Attack. And it's not good.
Oh, man, that's sad.
Well, it's like sci-fi good if you're just like... let's watch some garbage.
We're rabbit trailing now. Do you remember Ghoulies? Like
Ghoulies was awesome, yes.
Yeah, the little ones that came out of the toilet.
I used to love Ghoulies, Puppet Master, all those movies. Demonic Toys. They were so bad. They were awesome.
Yeah, I know like Child's Play isn't on our list, but I liked that one, the older one. Did you see the remake?
I did.
Did you like that one?
It was fine. It wasn't like I didn't love it.
Yeah.
What did you think of it?
I haven't seen it yet because I haven't heard that it was very good.
No, I mean it's it's not the slasher in his there's not a serial killer in Chucky's body.
Okay.
So it's like.
Oh yeah, that's right.
It's basically an AI goes.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
right. I remember that. That was the setup. But like Aubrey,
like a Siri, Aubrey Plaza. Yeah.
Yeah, she's in it, and I thought she's usually good. So, but nah,
she's good in it. I mean, it's worth checking out.
Yeah. All right. My number 7, Salem's Lot, and that's
a good one.
It was the I'm referencing the original one, but I also do like the one with Rob Lowe that came out later.
The TV one?
Yeah, well, they're both TV movies, but the first one, the original, the first time that they made a movie about it, that one was awesome. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I don't remember. I haven't seen it recently. Is that a Stephen King one?
Yes. Yeah. And I love the book, but I mean, the first time I saw that movie, the Salem's Lot movie, I was young, and like I say, it was made for TV. Like kind of like it was the same. Both of those I saw those because they were on TV, and I was like, oh, "This is scary."
Yeah.
And I watched it like not too long ago, and they're not as scary anymore. But there's one scene in particular from Salem's Lot where the kid is outside the window, and he's scratching on it because he's floating in the air, and he's trying to get the kid to let him in.
Yeah.
That is scary. That terrified me when I was a little kid.
As a kid, because you would probably stay up at night, just like hearing noises, and you're like, "Oh, is that the
because I think
floating outside my window?"
Yeah, because I think we watched it like in Eufaula, and we had like a little lake place out there, and I think we watched it. No, it wasn't.
Bragging.
It was like a trailer. It was
my lake house.
It was a trailer, but it was
a lake trailer.
Yeah. So
you're a trash person.
But my mom used to like we'd be out there and you could like hear like the trains or something go by. My mom would be like, like she'd try to scare us. You know? But so I'm sure, like you said, that I was out there listening to like the twigs on the windows scratching, like, oh my God.
This is
it.
Kid.
Yeah. So, and coincidentally, that probably like made me want to be a vampire for the rest of my life. So,
you really do have a vampire themed list here.
I really do. Let's see. Let's go to your number 6, which is a great movie, Scream.
Yeah. And I was afraid it would be too like.
Oh my God, that's
people hate on Scream, but I love Scream.
I can't imagine why, because when it came out, I remember thinking that this is like it's like a trendy kind of thing with all these actors who are pretty, a lot of them were TV actors, and some of them like Rose McGowan was like I think maybe the first time we'd seen her.
But like you're right, Courtney Cox and Nev Campbell,
David
Arquette, David Arquette, Matthew
Lillard. Like I think that was more Matthew Lillard and the other guy who looks like all those guys.
Skeet Ulrich.
He both of them I think this was kind of like their breakthrough movie.
Matthew Lillard was actually discovered because he went in with his girlfriend his girlfriend was casting for a role. And he got discovered and they was like, "Do you want to play Stu?" And he's like, "Yeah. I'll play Stu." And he's perfect.
Oh, he's great.
He's great in that role, and I think he's great in like he's over the top.
Yes,
but I love it.
Yeah, he is, and like a lot of people do, because like a lot. I mean, he was in SLC Punk,
which is a great movie. And then he went on to be in like the Scooby Doo movies. Yeah, Scooby's
which
Shaggy.
None of those are on our list. I noticed.
Which he was born to be Shaggy, really.
Yeah, and that's what people like probably hated on him for, was like he was all like really over expressive in his acting. But I've seen him in stuff recently where maybe indie movies or stuff where he's like, I think he's kind of becoming a little more serious and not so over the top in his performances. But for that movie, that was great.
Yeah.
And so I loved it because that movie was very Psycho-ish. Because like, spoiler alerts, if you haven't seen Scream 1 through 3? 4, and then the TV show?
Yeah, there's a TV show, yeah.
But, I went to this movie thinking, I love Drew Barrymore. I'm going to see some Drew Barrymore.
Casey. Was that her name? Casey something? Yeah.
Was Sydney.
Yeah. No, Sydney was Nev Campbell.
Nev Campbell, yeah. Oh, so it's Casey?
Casey, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So she
gets offed in the first.
Yeah, but it was so great. It was so great because nobody knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
The whole movie was, and for people who like now, it may seem like a cliche movie, but for back then, it was like I thought the ending actually surprised me. Some things you expected in a way that they were like, okay, we're gonna let you know enough that you think, okay, I know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But then in another way, they pull the rug out, and you're like,
yeah.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah, it's an awesome movie. It kind of like flipped the way horror movies are made.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a whole genre for a while of these teen kind of slasher.
Yeah. Well, the scary movies are based off of the Scream and stuff like that.
'Cause that was the original title, I think, was Scary Movie.
Was it?
Before they called it Scream.
Well, and then they had the what do they call that guy with the
Ghostface?
Ghostface, yeah, like that
Ghostface
was
Killer.
That that was a new costume. I mean, that took over everybody.
Yeah. Did you know that originally was supposed to be white? The costume was supposed to be white.
Oh no,
And it's based on the painting and everything, and so.
Oh, like the Edvard Munch, the Scream.
Yeah, the Screamer.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I'm just full of just useless. Again, if I could just learn another language.
I think that's the guy who painted that. I could be wrong.
No, you're right.
Oh, okay.
I think you're right.
Well, nice. I get to show off my humanities degree.
But I love Scream.
Oh, man.
It gets hated on. It's not considered like a traditional slasher movie.
Well, here's the thing. I also, like I said, I loved it.
And it's smart, too.
It is smart.
And
because
it's fourth wall and it's all that stuff.
Yeah, because it was saying, like, it was making fun of certain things, like, I'll be right back.
Yeah.
But then it took it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
So it was cool as a horror movie. I also remember, like, I took a girl to see that movie, and like we were holding hands throughout the movie, and I was like, so I mean, like the whole experience was great for me,
Yeah,
I mean?
Of course it was.
High school Brad, 90s Brad Reed, which he was a fun guy. All right, let's see, number 6 for me.
Wait,
what?
It wasn't Jesse, wasn't it?
So I will. I guess I ought to tell everybody what that's about.
No, you don't have to. There's a long shot that she may actually.
Well, I think we're friends on Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Possibly, but I don't know. But let's just say that me and Nugget went to the same schools at different times. But we'll just leave it at that. My number 6 was Fright Night. Do you remember that movie?
I do, yeah.
I always loved like his little friend Evil. Like he was like his little vampire buddy that
the one that McLovin played in the remake.
Yeah, they did the remake, and I actually didn't hate the remake. David Tennant was in it, and man, who was? I try to remember who.
Colin Farrell was the.
Yes, he was the vampire in that movie. But I mean, Fright Night was just a great movie back in the day. I don't remember. I think my mom was a fan of it first, and so I watched it. And the Marcy Darcy was the hot chick in that movie. Do you remember that?
Marcy Darcy.
What was that show? Married with Children. The Neighbor.
Oh, I forgot it. Was she in the original Fright Night?
Yeah,
okay, Marcy Darcy.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. Which is funny because in that movie she was kind of like, or in that show she was kind of.
She's kind of tomboy,
annoying and frumpy, like But in that movie she was like the hot girl. That's funny.
That's funny. I did not know that.
The other thing that I liked about that movie, because I always grew up watching the local Channel 25 or 34 around Halloween time, and like they had Count Gregor on the local shows.
Yeah,
and
the
stuff.
dude.
And I actually have met him in recent years up at the radio station and stuff. He's a really nice guy, but like I always thought he was cool. But they had like a guy in Fright Night who was kind of like the Count Gregor there.
Yeah.
And so like I always kind of thought about Count Gregor when I would watch this movie.
And that's Tennant, right? Plays that
character? He does in the remake. Yeah. And so Fright Night was a lot of fun, but I thought it still had some good scary moments. Maybe not so much like watching it now, but as a kid, I loved that movie. Loved it. So, okay, so our number 5s, we both have the same number 5. Although I will say, on a good day, you could probably make this my number 1. But like I said, since I wanted to be able to I didn't want to have to talk about it now and then at number 1. Yeah. So at number 5, and on a good day, number 1, The Lost Boys.
The Lost Boys.
Man.
Probably the most quotable movie.
Oh, my God.
Horror movie, at least, of all time.
Oh, I quote that movie probably once a week in some way or another.
You wanted to be a frog, brother.
Oh, my. Yeah. I'll have to post a picture when we edit this. And so when you go rewatch it, you'll see a picture of me and my brother right now.
Did you guys dress up like Frog Brothers?
No, but I edited us. Like I put our faces on the Frog Brothers, so it looks pretty great. Yes, I wanted to be a Frog Brother. I mean, they were awesome. They lived in a comic book shop. Their parents were stoners, hippies, so they didn't care what they did. They got to go kill vampires. They were the greatest.
Did you see the recent story with Kiefer Sutherland saying that he invented the mullet?
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
Yeah. He apologized for it.
Yeah,
and I was like, no, is that Kiefer? Can you see that? Yeah. There he is in his full mullet glory. But he says he invented it, which I'm dubious about that.
I had a rat tail mullet. Like in the early 80s. So
yeah,
I don't know if he invented it.
Maybe the Boz? Does he know the Boz? Do you remember the Boz?
Yeah, the Boz, he was the one that made it famous. I think.
But so I don't know, Kiefer. You might.
The Nasty Boys had him back. Well, that was the 90s, I guess, early 90s.
But man, yeah, the Lost Boys. It was just so cool. When you were young, those guys, Corey Haim, all those guys, Corey Feldman, man, we just said Kiefer Sutherland, Jason Patrick, the guy from Mark. Bill and Ted.
Alex Winters.
Yeah. They all seemed like so cool to me.
Yeah.
And then the movie just was very, like you said, there was a lot of great quotable, burn rubber, does not mean warp speed, or
the blood-sucking Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
Death by Stereo.
There's
the only thing about living in Santa Clara I never could stomach. It's the damn vampires.
All the damn
best
vampires.
Ending line.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah, that was a great. That was a great movie, and they've made sequels. And also, honestly,
Corey Feldman made sequels.
Yeah. Well, the second movie, Corey Feldman was in it. Corey Haim makes an appearance at the very end, like
The Tribe.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, and then
honestly, I would say that second movie would have been a good vampire movie if they didn't call it The Lost Boys. If it was just some other vampire movie that kind of would have reminded you maybe of The Lost Boys, but whatever. But since it was a Lost Boys sequel and you waited 20 years, there was a lot of expectation and it sucked.
Was anybody else in that besides the Frog Brothers?
No. Well, it was only Corey Feldman at first. I don't think
the other guy jumped on for the Thirst, the third one.
Yeah, which was, I don't know. I watched it. I want to say it's garbage, but I kind of enjoyed it in that it's just the Lost Boys. It's not a good sequel, but there was more, the Frog Brothers, and so I don't know. I couldn't tell you that it's gonna make the list ever.
Yeah,
I don't even know if it'd make the top 100. But I didn't hate it.
When they were people partying out with the sax guy and all that stuff, and they started jumping down on them. I remember that messed me up for a while too. Because I really thought like bats were gonna come down and attack me at night or something.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. I just got this in the mail today, which they put out 6 issues of The Lost Boys on Vertigo, and I've got the collected edition, but it's pretty cool. I haven't read it yet, but check out this variant cover on the back.
Oh, sax guy.
Yeah, sexy sax guy.
That guy was, man.
I still believe. My mom loved that dude. Like we used to rent this movie every weekend.
And she would watch it alone?
Well, no, we would all watch it.
You kids go to bed.
Yeah. But she freaking, she loved it, for that reason as much as we loved it for how cool we thought the movie was. I guarantee you. But but good stuff. My mom did love that movie. And that guy.
Well, who doesn't love that guy?
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure you could pull off a sweet costume.
Sexy sax guy?
Yeah. You should do it one year.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
But I mean, what kind of hair does he have going on this back?
I mean, he just get you need
right?
you just need black black wig, pull it back in a ponytail, wet it down, kind of baby oil maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then like a chain and purple pants.
So okay, I can pull that off.
Yeah, I know you could. It'll be awesome. All right, so number 5, and like I say, could be number 1, Lost Boys. That's a great movie. All right, let's go to your number 4. We're getting down our list here. Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger. Mm-hmm. This is the original one, the first one, right?
Not the remake.
Not the remake
where they made Freddy a pedo.
Yeah, I didn't like that.
He came out. He was too creepy.
You might kind of infer that in some of the other movies, but I don't like the fully embracing it.
Yeah, they kind of implied it in the other ones, and it was kind of more of a child killer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't make it any better, but I'm just saying, the whole the angle they took with Michael Bay was a little creepy.
And that one did have Johnny Depp in it, right?
The original, yeah.
Yeah. That was a great one. Now, throughout the years, they made more. Did you think the sequels got... it seems like they tried to make Freddy funnier as the movies went on. So did you enjoy that? Or
Well, if I had to rank them, Brad, I'm glad you asked.
Okay.
I would say that... I'm glad you asked.
Yeah.
So the first one is number 1.
Yeah.
Second one's Dream Warriors.
Okay.
With this guy with the needles.
Yeah.
I love Dream Warriors.
Mm-hmm. Which one was that?
That's where they they can become whatever they want in their dreams.
Oh yeah, no.
So
which
there's like
number?
a wizard. That's the third one.
Third one. Okay.
So there's like a wizard.
Yeah.
Then there's a punk rock chick and a strong guy. Do you remember that at all?
I don't remember it. I'll have to go back and watch that one.
And then I like A New Nightmare for some reason.
Is that the one? That wasn't the one where it was like the movie within a movie.
That was the movie within the movie.
Okay,
Wes Craven's in it.
Mm-hmm. I do remember that movie, and as a young kid, when I first saw that and the meta-ness of it, I was like, this is blowing my mind.
Yeah.
It's a movie within a movie. I love it.
And number 4 would be Freddy versus Jason, just because it's just a party.
It's a fun movie. Mm-hmm. It's a really fun movie.
It's entertaining.
I'll put my stamp on that one.
And then I like Freddy's Revenge, the second one. The one that has a lot of homoerotic tones throughout the whole thing. It's a guy, Freddy's inside of him, Freddy wants to come out, and there's a lot of what's going on here?
Yeah.
Is this a statement? The gym teachers going to leather bars and stuff.
Who directed this movie?
My dad, actually. No. I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right.
I don't think it was Wes Craven.
Right.
But he probably signed off on it.
So, and which number was that one?
That was the second one.
That was the second one?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Freddy Returns.
Maybe that was the one where I was like, okay, I don't think I'm going to watch any more Freddy movies.
You didn't like any of the other ones?
I mean, I saw those later on, but as they came out, I wasn't I got to see every Freddy movie that comes out.
Yeah.
I saw The New Nightmare. I think that was it just happened to be one of those weekends where there wasn't much to rent, and my mom let me rent that one. And then I went and saw Freddy versus Jason at the theaters. And I think me and my brother went and saw it because it was just like you said. That's just one of those you got to see. Did
Jason X. It's just ridiculous, but it's awesome.
Did you tell me that there was going to be the Hellraiser versus Michael Myers?
Yeah,
movie?
that was a plan for Dimension. Had that kind of in the early stages before Zombie came over and started, signed up to do them.
Another little nugget that you dropped on me the last show was the Lords of Salem being the prequel in
spiritual
a sense.
prequel,
for that Halloween. I've been telling everybody ever since, dude, check it out.
Yeah, it makes you want to go back and rewatch it.
Yeah, and everybody's like, oh, whoa.
What?
Yeah. Our minds are blown. Yeah, our minds haven't been blown this much since A New Nightmare.
Right?
Yeah.
It's good.
So my number 4, okay, I've got the tattoo on my hand of the Death Head moth. Mm-hmm. So it was Silence of the Lambs, which is... that's another one of those, is it a suspenseful movie? Is it a horror movie? But, I mean, there are some scenes in that movie where that's a horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hannibal Lecter, God, such a great character. Mm-hmm. And I've read all the books. I love the movies, even the other ones they made. I didn't love them as
you didn't
much,
like them?
Of course, but Hannibal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was okay. It was all right. It just didn't. I didn't think it captured the spirit of
Red
the book
Dragon.
as good.
Right.
Red Dragon was really good. I thought.
Did you wonder as a kid, what was that prisoner throwing at Clarice in the prison?
I don't think I really caught it. I probably thought he spit.
Yeah.
Which he did.
He probably spit.
Yeah.
He is in prison.
Yeah. But that was another one my mom took me to go see at the Dollar Movies over on Shields. Like all these movies that I tell you that we went and saw was over there at the Dollar Movies. Did you know which place I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I miss that place. I'd probably go. I don't really. I know bougie of me. I don't really care to go to the Dollar Movies, but I would go to that place if it was still
just
around.
yeah,
for just to take a trip back to my childhood.
A lot of movies. Jeff, my cousin. We would go. We would convince my grandma to go get us tickets to get us into the movie. That were rated R movies. So that's how we got into a lot of stuff too.
Really? That's funny.
And she'd be like, "Are you sure you're everybody's okay with it?" I'm like, yeah, it's no big deal. Here's money. Let's go.
That's funny. My grandma would have never.
She would just drop us off. She wouldn't stay for anything.
Oh, okay. I got you. My grandma did take us to go see Flowers in the Attic.
Wow.
Did you see that?
I have seen that, yeah.
That's like a creepy. It's not like a horror movie, but it is like a creepy movie.
It's a bit much for a kid.
Yeah, I think we were all like, "Why are we here?" I wanted to go see E.T.
Should we? I don't know.
But that was the great thing, and that's why we went to a lot of Dollar Movies. Was in the summer. There were so many of us. I had like a bunch of cousins, and we all go to my grandma's house and stuff, and so like. She would take us to the movies and $1 each. So yeah, I miss the Dollar Movies. But anyway, let's move on. Number 3, Creep Show '82. Because are they remaking Creep Show?
It's a TV show on Shudder.
Oh, okay. So remind me of so there were so many of these at one time. It seems like there was Creep Show,
Tales from the Dark Side, Tales from the Crypt.
Okay, so is Creep Show the one that was was one of them a Stephen King story?
They are Romero and Stephen King.
Okay.
Collaborated.
Yeah.
Some they wrote some, they directed some.
So is this like the one where they're on the they're in the water on like the deck in the water, and then there's like the oil slick thing?
That's the second one. Yeah.
That's a great one.
That's Creep Show 2.
Oh, that's the second movie.
Yeah, it has the totem pole, not the totem pole, but the Indian display out front.
Okay, so that's Creep Show 2. Tell me, so set me up on Creep Show 1, some of those.
Okay, so there's 5 horror story segments. It was all collaborations between Tom Savini and George Romero and Stephen King. They were, and also it was what Greg Nicotero based a lot of The Walking Dead on.
Oh, really?
Was the Creep Show format. So anyway, there was, let me see here. I'm trying to find there was Father's Day. The one where he wants a cake for Father's Day. It's a zombie. Do you remember that one? Adrienne Barbeau, I think. No, she's in the another one. But there's a...
I don't remember
who's it?
that one.
Ed Harris is in that one.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I think I do remember
a young Ed Harris.
Yeah.
And he comes out of the grave, cuts her head off. He's like, just presents it as his cake. Do you kind of remember that a little bit?
I don't. God. It's been so long. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch that one for sure.
Okay, and Stephen King in his own story, the Jordy Verrill, I think is what it's called, where the grass grows on him, meteorite lands.
Man, I don't remember this one at all.
Oh, yeah, he touches it, and he starts getting grass.
Nope.
It grows all over him. Nothing?
No.
Okay. This one you might remember. Leslie Nielsen, Something in the Tide. Something to Tide You Over.
Okay.
And it's Ted Danson. Leslie Nielsen kidnaps him, buries him up to his head.
Oh, yeah.
Up to his neck.
Yeah.
In the tide, and then the high tide.
Oh, right. Right.
And they come back as zombies.
No, that's crazy. I don't think I've seen this one, to be honest.
And The Crate. The Crate is the one with Adrienne Barbeau. It's the one with the monster inside a crate.
Nope.
Okay. And there's the cockroach one, which I don't know if you remember the cockroach one.
I do think I remember that.
The guy in a super clean OCD apartment.
Yes.
And cockroaches get in.
Yes.
And they kill him.
Right. The kid from not The Stand, the Stand By Me. Jerry
O'Connell?
Yeah.
Is in...
No, do you remember that? He was in that movie Apartment something where like...
Joe's Apartment?
Joe's Apartment with the cockroaches?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, no.
You can't talk about the fat kid from the stand.
No, okay, so actually, no. I mean, it's amazing because I really don't think I've seen this Creep Show. Now, I've seen two,
Creep
obviously.
Show 2, yeah. And Creep Show 3 is not good, and I haven't seen the series yet.
Now, because there's just so many, like there was Tales from the Dark Side, and like I love the show. That TV show was. We could do. We might have to do another podcast about like horror TV shows,
anthology type shows.
Yeah, like
Monsters, Tales from the Dark Side.
Monsters was a great one. Tales from the Dark Side, like I remember the music.
The Outer Limits, Twilight Zone.
The music to Tales from the Dark Side scared the crap out of me as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just when that music started playing, I was like, ugh. But I remember Monsters. That was a crazy one. You were talking about. Oh, do you remember that they had Friday the 13th, but it wasn't about Jason?
They would like go out and solve crimes. It was like Supernatural.
Yeah,
show,
right.
But...
It was they like took place in some kind of store or something.
Yeah, they would find these antiques and go and find out the history of it.
I'm out on this one, but
it like launched all these other anthologies: Tales from the Dark Side, Creep Show 2,
Tales from the Crypt,
Cat's Eye. Remember that one?
Yeah.
Cat's Eye's awesome.
Yeah. What was the one? I think it was this was one that was a Twilight Zone movie, but where the guy was out on the, he would see like the thing out on the
William
plane.
Shatner, and then John Lithgow did it in the movie.
Yes, yeah. So yeah, because it was an episode, and then it was
there's something on the plane. Yeah, Jim Carrey did it in Ace Ventura. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Creep. So out of all those, though, for you, Creep Show stands out the most as the best.
Yeah, and I'll say that is the first scary movie I saw. The first one on my list.
Really?
That I saw
okay.
Ever,
okay. Interesting.
which was 1982. Which I don't know how old I was when I finally saw it, but I remember it being the first scary movie I saw. That and Monster Squad. Monster Squad I didn't put on the list because it's not really.
Yeah,
it's more of a kids movie.
Yeah.
It's more like Goonies,
But it's got the great line of
Wolfman has nards.
Yeah, exactly. Wolfman doesn't have nards. I love that movie. Oh, so good. All right, my number 3, and I'm going to kind of do an et al. Here. I'm going to say all of them, the whole franchise. Evil Dead, 1, 2, and Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
I didn't get into the TV show. I watched a couple episodes, but I haven't seen all of it, so... But I've heard it recommended. The play is at the Pollard Theater up in Guthrie, and because
I've seen that, it's fun.
I need to go. I'm still thinking about trying to go up there maybe Friday night or something and seeing it, because I think it goes through November 1st or probably 2nd, which would be this coming up Saturday. So if those of you who are interested, but did you see the one up in Stroud? I guess
I don't remember which one I saw. This was a couple of years ago.
They did it there for a long time, and then now they're doing it up at the Pollard and Guthrie. So for those of you out there who might be into that, but it's hard for me to pin down which one I love the most, but I think it's the first one. And the reason, but see, I like the second one too, because I don't think it was the second one until he got the chainsaw for the hand. Right?
Yeah, that was
But it seemed like with the Evil Dead movies, it seemed like the first one. They tried to make Sam Raimi tried to make like a serious Evil Dead movie, but then maybe realized that some of it, because of the CGI, or some of it was kind of coming across as comical. And so I feel like they embraced that for the second movie.
Yeah.
And then Army of Darkness,
of course,
Give Me Sugar Baby.
Yeah. Yeah, another quotable movie.
Yeah.
Great movie.
So, I guess I kind of like the first one because it maybe was a little more scary to me.
It's kind of it was made as a college film.
Yes.
So that's really cool. Have you seen Sam Raimi? Well, speaking of Sam Raimi, the Grudge trailer? The new Grudge? Yeah.
Is he in that?
Well, he did the first Grudge. So.
Oh, okay.
Or he helped produce it or something. Yeah.
That's crazy. I did not realize that he did that. Was it? What was the movie that Sam Raimi did with? I remember it had like a goat at the end. Like,
oh, a talking goat.
That was a great horror movie too.
Yeah.
It's sad I can't remember the name of it, but.
Oh,
yeah,
dude.
But anyway, I'll pop it up, because I'll find it after when I'm editing. But that
so it's popping up right now.
Yeah,
okay,
it's popping up right now.
Okay, because I know which film you're talking about. Because it's the gypsy woman puts a curse on her.
Yeah, But it was great because it was kind of funny, but it was also scary. But so that's kind of like I said, you know what the Evil Dead, it reminds me of a different franchise in a different way. But do you remember The House?
Yeah, House, yeah.
That was a scary movie when I was young.
Yeah.
And then they made the second movie, and it seemed like it was like all these puppets and stuff. And I was like, the hell is going on here? Salem's Lot 2. They made a Salem's Lot 2, I remember. And so I think this might be based on another story that Stephen King wrote where it wasn't like a sequel, but there's interactions in a lot of these books that he does. But the premise of it was that all the vampires in the town now were kind of more accepted. They were out in the open. They ate cows though because of the AIDS epidemic.
So I
was like,
topical,
cheesy. You know, it was cheesy to me. So, but Evil Dead, even though it got funnier, I don't think it got cheesy. You know, and when it was cheesy, it was for a comical reason, I thought. So that's why I have Evil Dead at number 3.
What'd you think of the remake?
Oh, I liked it.
Yeah.
It was a little more not cheesy or comical. It was a little.
It's very serious.
Yeah, but I did dig it for what it was. So some of the remakes, it just depends. It's just that there's so many of them now.
Yeah.
That's what gets annoying.
There are some that stand out, like Dawn of the Dead remake. It's pretty amazing.
Which none of those are even on our list. Like I said, if we would have made like a zombie. Then did you have Dawn of the Dead?
No, but like remakes like The Ring remake, The Hills Have Eyes remake, I think 2006.
Which actor did Dawn of the Dead, the remake? Was it James Gunn?
Yes, James Gunn.
That was, didn't we go see that together at the?
I think so.
Yeah, that was
kind of like your high school story. Where you were holding hands.
Yeah, that was why it was so great. No, because doesn't it start off with like the song by God,
Sit Down with the Sickness.
Oh, was that?
And it's Richard Cheese is doing it.
Oh yes, that's right. I love that.
No, that's in like halfway through the movie. What does it start out with?
I want to say it was Johnny Cash.
Yes, the man comes around.
Yeah,
but because the Down with the Sickness is like in a montage scene. Yeah.
And I loved how they were shooting people. And they were like Rosie O'Donnell at one, and it wasn't like political. It was just funny because they'd pick random.
Yeah, it was like Jay Leno.
Yeah. So I thought that was pretty good too. Didn't make our list though, but
because a lot of people would be like against the original Romero trilogy. Like you're gonna
I'm sorry. People may hate me for this, but I'm almost like I kind of like the remakes of the Dawn of the Deads and all that better than the originals.
Yeah.
Maybe not Night of the Living Dead.
Night of the Living Dead's pretty epic.
They're coming to get you, Bobby.
That's an amazing movie. And Day of the Dead is, again, people are going to hate on this, but I think it's kind of boring.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The original Day of the Dead?
It's not that great.
But the original Dawn of the Dead's pretty good.
Yeah.
So, and then the remake.
They're good. Good. And they invented a genre that's going strong today. Like sometimes I'm like, oh. Like I just watched Zombieland and I loved it. And the first Zombieland could have made a top 10 list, but I didn't put it on there. But I just I'm kind of there's so many zombie stuff that I don't know. I just don't feel it. So Bill Murray was in this first Zombieland, and then he was in another zombie movie not too long ago. That was like a zombie comedy movie.
Yeah, The Dead Don't Die.
Yeah, did you see that one?
Oh, it's terrible.
Oh, was it?
It was so bad. I'm sorry, but it was not good. Saying.
If you've got too many zombie movies as it is, and Bill Murray in them,
yeah,
it's like, all right, let's do something else. But there are a lot of great zombie movies.
Tilda Swinton in it. Like, I don't know what she is. Like, is she a alien or android?
Let's move on to your number 2.
My poop.
This number, you're not. That's gross.
Grow up.
Yeah. This number 2 is a good one though. This is a good number 2.
Mm-hmm.
Candyman. That one. What is the guy's name? Tony Todd. So scary.
Yeah.
He's got the best voice.
He's 6'5".
Yeah.
Which makes him super intimidating. And I have an autograph at home. I love Tony Todd.
Candyman was one, when I first saw it, me and my cousins were home alone, and my best friend who lived down the street, and his stepdad used to like rent movies and tape them onto tape. So like he'd have like 3 tapes with like 3 movies, you know. And so we'd grab some and we'd watch them because it was summer, you know. We didn't have nothing to do. We were probably, I don't know, I feel like we were 13 or 14 around that age when this came out. And so
Discovering
we watched
your bodies.
No, maybe. But we by the end of this movie, and like I said, I'm a seasoned horror movie guy. We were all like on like this little sofa, all 4 of us sitting on it together,
cuddled together.
It was a scary movie.
Yeah,
it was a scary movie, and I love Candyman. Like the ones that came after,
Farewell to the Flesh and Day of the Dead.
Yeah, but the first one, oh my god, that movie's scary.
Yeah. Okay, so I watched it in theaters, Dollar Theater, back in like California, back where I saw it with my sister, I think. And we came home afterward, and there's a scene in the movie where a kid goes to the bathroom.
Yes.
And a guy goes, a tough-looking man goes in after him, comes out with white hair.
Yeah.
And they say it was in the toilet.
Oh, yeah.
So for like a week, I couldn't go to the bathroom. Like I had to have the door open. My sister's like, shut the door, Josh. And
yeah.
I'm like, the movie, I mean, it freaked me out.
Right.
That scene alone freaked me out for some reason.
That's funny. Oh, it's
Just
scary.
Kid, yeah.
It was so scary. I remember, so I had like this mask. It was just a skull mask. It wasn't even that scary. But I remember we were going to watch it, so I like tucked it away and put it somewhere. And so afterwards, I was like, hey guys, let's go in the bathroom and do it. Let's say Candyman. So we all go in the bathroom. We turn off the lights. And we say Candyman, Candyman, Candyman. And as we're doing it, I put on the mask. And so we turn it on, and like my cousins and my friends scream bloody murder and run out, and it scared me, so I'm screaming and running out too. It was crazy, but that movie, that's a great one to have at number 2.
It's kind of like the Bloody Mary thing growing up.
Sure,
everybody tried that.
Yeah. Did you ever do that by yourself in the bathroom?
Not by myself. Yeah. No.
It's scary. I didn't ever want to do it.
No.
Like, what if it's real?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was a nerd. All right, number 2 for me. Man, this is like, to me, one of the scariest movies of all time. The Shining.
Yeah.
And I remember, I just grew up with this movie. Jack Nicholson. He was amazing. I've got him tattooed on my arm.
Oh, I thought you meant the Steven Weber version, not the Wings guy.
Yeah, I remember that one came later, and I don't think I've even seen that one. Although I believe Stephen King himself liked that version better because it was truer to the book.
It was less of a Kubrick art film.
Did you see that? So you did like that one?
I remember watching it when it was on TV. So
yeah,
that would have been what, early 90s?
Yeah,
and then
or later. Yeah. Well, that's kind of like what we were talking about earlier. There was the Salem's Lot remake that I think it was made for TNT with Rob Lowe. And again, it was a little more, I thought it was even more closer to the book, and I liked it. But I just, the first one, Salem's Lot, stood out to me. Even if this new movie, or not the new movie, newer Shining, was better than the Kubrick, I just don't see how I would love it more. Yeah, it's that first Shining is just, I don't know. That was a scary ass movie for me when I was a kid. I still think it's creepy.
Yeah, I know. There's some stuff in there that's and beautiful. Like the movie is beautiful.
Yeah,
the shots are amazing.
That's it's filmed like a film should be filmed, not just a horror movie.
What was the room 314?
Oh man, I've got the key over there on the other
where the naked lady is with all the boo-boos on her, all the sores.
Yeah. So I'm really excited about Dr. Sleep too. I've read, like I told you, I've read a bunch of Stephen King books, but The Shining is also one of my favorite books because as scary as I think the movie is, the book is scarier. And a lot of books don't scare me either, but The Shining is a scary book. But the Dr. Sleep is a sequel, and it's one of those, I won't spoil it for anybody who hasn't read it, or the movie's coming out in a couple weeks. But I was like, man, how are they going to make a sequel to it without it being cheesy? And it wasn't. So, and now that the movie has like Ewan McGregor in it, I'm thinking it will be good. I saw a trailer for it, and so I'm excited.
It's Joe Hill, though, right? It's not Stephen King. Is it both of them?
Who wrote Dr. Sleep? No, I think it was just Stephen King who wrote Dr. Sleep.
Oh, okay, but I thought Joe Hill had something behind it.
Oh, I don't know.
Or Stephen King's son.
Yeah, he does a lot of other stuff with them. They've done stuff, but I think Dr. Sleep was just Stephen.
Did you like Nosferatu?
The movie?
The TV show.
Oh, yeah. No, I haven't seen it yet.
Okay.
What one? What?
That's Joe Hill. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Which one is that on?
AMC.
Oh, it is on AMC. Okay, I'll have to check it out. Is it already wrapped up for this season?
Yeah, it's done.
Okay.
And I think they're starting a new season.
They make really good. The Walking Dead, Preacher, all of those. Are you into Preacher?
I want to watch Preacher.
It's good.
How many seasons are there?
3, maybe.
Oh, that's it?
Maybe
I was thinking
4,
there's like
but
6 or 7 seasons.
No, there's definitely, if there's 4, that's the most there is. But I think it's 3.
I really want to watch it.
That's a good one. Yeah. So, but The Shining, God, I just... tell me, is that a movie? It's not on your list, but is that a movie that sticks out to you?
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch it if it's on. It's not one of my faves.
Those little girls with the blood and
yeah,
such an iconic scene.
That is a really cool scene.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's just not one of my favorites.
It's a slower movie too.
It's slow,
and so as a horror movie, it's like. I don't know. It's not, it's not a fast-paced slasher flick or anything like that. But as you kind of maybe are going to see by my movies, like Silence of the Lambs, some of those, I'm kind of into that, as far as that goes. But yeah, Shining number 2. All right. Well, we're getting to our number ones. We do have different number ones, but I agree with your number 1.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So your number 1 is the original. I believe it came out in 1974.
Yes.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes.
Which
is on Netflix right now if you want to check it out.
It is. Yeah.
The original.
I love that movie, and I actually wrote that one as another one where, other than the sequel with Matthew McConaughey,
The Next Generation, yeah,
which I didn't see.
Renee Zellweger is in that too.
I didn't see that one. Did you see it?
Oh, it's so bad.
Is it?
It's so bad, but it's like Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger's first movies.
Yeah.
Before Jerry Maguire, before he took off with,
Yeah. What was the stoner movie they were in together? It's set in the 70s. I know. That's so bad.
Almost Famous. He's coming to mind. I know it's not.
Oh
it.
no.
It's
because it was the first Matthew McConaughey. All right. Dazed and Confused.
Dazed and Confused. Holy cow!
Got
man,
it.
That was gonna
saved it because it was about to get desperate there.
Yeah. We're gonna grab our phones.
Yeah. But so I think it was around they were making all those movies, right? It's funny that they made them at the same time. Is she from the Texas area too?
I don't know that for sure.
But so other than that Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I like all of those. I even like the remakes.
Yeah.
And I like the one weird one that I don't think was a remake, but it was like a sequel that came out not too long ago. I think we saw this one together.
Oh
yeah.
no, 3D.
I thought it was Leatherface. Was there another one after that?
Yeah, there's there was the reboots, which was the Jessica Biel remake, and in the beginning, and then 3D.
Yeah,
and then they made Leatherface. So,
okay. So yeah, Leatherface is the last one. I like that one. It was okay.
Is it like the origin story of the Sawyer boys?
Yeah.
That one, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was okay. It definitely wasn't number 1.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, that movie was brutal in a way that other movies weren't.
Yes.
Toby Hooper,
yeah.
Yeah. Which he's done other great movies too.
Poltergeist
is another one that could easily be on these lists. And I'm sure some people have it on theirs. But it was just, man, it was brutal.
Yes.
And there was characters in it that you kind of wanted to see get
Franklin.
Yeah.
Just say it, Franklin.
Yeah.
I don't care if he's in a wheelchair. He's annoying.
He is totally annoying. And so you were like, it made you feel bad.
Yeah.
Because
this guy's in a wheelchair.
Yeah, but then it kind of whatever.
Well, he sucks.
Yeah.
Just kill him already.
Which is what was genius about it, I love it. Leatherface, my nephews see Leatherface and they're like, they think he's like the coolest like little character. They don't know. They haven't seen the movie.
They don't know the mask is made of skin.
Yeah, exactly. Like terrifying. And like I've been I drive a lot. I don't like to fly. I drive down in Texas, and there are some places down there that I'm like, is this where this movie was set?
There's places in like southeast Oklahoma that I'm like, they're a little questionable. Like, where are you going to stop?
Yeah. Let me ask you, have you ever driven down to see the Texas Chainsaw Massacre house?
No.
I want to.
Is it in Texas?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
We need to go do that.
Road trip.
Yeah.
Bro trip.
Yeah. I love it. But that's definitely a place I would love to see. And it's not that. I mean, there are spots in Texas that are
so
like
it's the
12
Sawyer
hours
house.
away,
is it the house from the remakes or it's the original?
I think it's the original.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. But anyway, I really, really love that movie. And like I said, I even loved the remakes.
Yeah. There was a HorrorCon here. Nightfall put it together not too long ago. I was like a month ago or something. And John Dugan and Edwin Neal, who play Grandpa in The Hitchhiker, were at the HorrorCon, and I was like, I was like a 12-year-old girl meeting a BTS or some sort of K-pop band. I was like, oh my god, like it was like a dream.
Wasn't Eddie Furlong there? Edward
Furlong, which he didn't have a line at his table.
I think I saw like a picture and I was like, oh.
I put a video up with I think it was like Everybody Hurts was the sign because so I'm like getting to meet all these people and there's like the tow truck driver from House of 1,000 Corpses is there, bunch of people, really cool people, and Edward Furlong doesn't have a line, he's just got a table and he's got his head down like this.
Oh God, no.
And I was like, is he looking at his phone? No, he's not looking at his phone. He's just got his head on the table. And I was like, I felt so bad for Edward Furlong.
Did you say you had a picture of it?
Yeah, I took a video of it. I can send it to you.
Can I get that video? All right.
But
that's sad.
I know. I felt bad because I feel bad for him. He was in Terminator 2. He was in Pet Sematary 2.
Yeah.
Like, he's got a decent resume, but...
Oh, I know. I would have, if I had gone to that, I would have loved to have gone up to meet him, actually.
I think he was charging quite a bit more than everybody else. So, like, I think his autographs were like $60.
So you didn't go, oh. And you can't even just go say hi, right? You have to go up there to buy an autograph.
You have to go, like small talk. They don't want small talk.
Yeah.
Like, he kept going.
He wants that money.
Yeah, he kept going to the bathroom, and I thought, well, maybe I can stop him, in between. But he was all business.
Yeah. Man. We're talking about Terminator 2. Terminator 2 was more of an action movie. But Terminator 1, I thought, was one of those like Aliens, the first movie, where it came off more kind of like a horror movie.
Yeah.
Where like they're kind of stalking their prey, kind of like Michael Myers.
My list would have had Predator on it, but I think that's considered more of a sci-fi type movie.
I mean, we could maybe someday do a sci-fi horror genre countdown, or there's like we talked about all the movies we left off, but I mean, going back to your number one, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That could be my number one easily because that's a scary movie.
It's just raw.
Yeah,
it's like real. Like whenever Leatherface hits him over the head with the mallet and the first kill, and he starts shaking. That's like a legit response to somebody clubbing somebody.
Yeah,
it's
real. You're right. Oh man,
he like seizes out. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so real.
Right.
That you can't help but like, am I watching a snuff movie? Like you feel like
exactly, and that's kind of why, like I said, like The Devil's Rejects, Rob Zombie, like when that girl gets laid out on the highway, that reminded me of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah,
where there's a little bit of realism to it that you're like a little too much. Where you're like, ooh,
you feel kind of guilty for watching it.
Yeah, like
until Franklin dies, and then everybody cheers.
So yeah. Okay, so let's. You want to hear my number one?
Absolutely, yeah.
Faces of Death.
No,
I rented that all the time as a child.
That's a real snuff movie. Did you ever watch Traces of Death?
No. Okay. Is that like a?
Yeah, it's a step up from Faces. Faces of Death was like presented as like a documentary.
Yeah.
Whereas Traces of Death was just like death metal music and like people dying.
Oh gosh. I only actually watched one Faces of Death. I think there's like millions of them, but I don't remember. It was probably like the typical one that a lot of people saw, where they're like they were eating like the monkey brains. But I remember thinking, like, I don't really want to watch this.
I know, you feel bad.
Yeah, like, this isn't as cool as people made it out to sound.
I remember in high school, my friends, we all got together, all the guys, we were like, oh, it's good, Trace's death. And we put it in, watch it, and none of us wanted to hang out after.
Yeah.
We were like, all right, we'll see you later.
Yeah, that was bad.
That was uncomfortable.
Okay, so my real number one is Psycho.
Psycho's a good one.
Yeah, and I've got the Psycho house tattooed on my arm for those of you who are watching. But man, okay, so I didn't see that movie till I was probably, I think I was like a senior in high school or something. You know, it was in black and white, and I'd heard about it plenty. And I think, actually, I remember we went to Universal Studios in Florida, and they did like this whole thing because the house is over there, and they showed you how they film like the shower scene and all that.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's a cool movie. I'll check it out. And so I watched it one night by myself. And like I said, I've seen Candyman by then. I've seen Child's Play. I've seen all these movies, you know, tons of them. Halloween. I don't think I'd seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre yet, though. But I watched Psycho, and I was legit, after I turned the movie off, scared.
Really?
Yeah. I was just like unsettled. And I think it was because this guy really existed. Like,
yeah,
you know, they dressed it up for the movie. Actually, Silence of the Lambs was based on
Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah, Texas Chainsaw. Yeah, Ed Gein.
Ed Gein, yeah.
Yeah, and so Psycho a little closer to that story than those. Those are a little more
with the obsession with their mom and the cross dressing and the
yeah. Buffalo Bill was kind of loosely based because Ed Gein would cut off their skin because he was trying to make a suit to. I think what had happened was he killed his mom. He felt bad about it, and he was either dressing up like her or,
as one does.
Yes, yes. So, or that she had just died. I can't remember which one happened, but it's because it's been a while since I read the Ed Gein story. But anyway, Psycho is kind of more of based on that. And but yeah, I thought that's what was kind of scary was just the fact that this wasn't a ghost, a zombie, a vampire, anything like that. This was just a real.
Yeah, it's a twisted dude with some mom issues.
Yeah, and you know, that's scarier to me than anything.
And when you think like Janet Leigh is in the shower scene,
yeah,
that is
iconic.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis's mom.
Yeah,
in Halloween. It all kind of ties together. Those are cool things.
And you see, like all the time, you see people pay homage to the shower scene in horror movies now. But yeah, and the music, the music made it super scary. I thought creepy. So. You know, and so it wasn't so much of, it was kind of the first slasher movie in a way, but because all that blood and stuff, even though it wasn't really even blood, all that was kind of new. Like people were shocked by that. And also I remember at, you know, reading about it and stuff was they made people sign stuff and all this stuff. And they like stressed to people, don't tell anybody about this movie, like what happens in it. You know, don't go tell them the ending or that, you know, Janet Leigh dies at the beginning or any, you know, because like we said, you know, Scream paid tribute to that, you know, with Drew Barrymore dying like that and all that. So this movie to me was like really the holy grail of horror movies in a way that it spawned other genres that maybe, you know, like I said, this wasn't quite a slasher film, but definitely set the stage.
Yeah. Well, they made other ones that were not very good.
Well, sure.
It's not, I mean, until Anthony Perkins passed away, but they made like 3 of them, I think.
Yeah, they made like 2 or 3 of them, I believe. And I've seen a few of them. And the show, did you ever watch?
Oh yeah, Bates Motel.
That was a great one.
That was a good show.
You know what's crazy is back in the day they made a Bates Motel show.
I didn't see that.
It was like on Fox 25 or one of those. But it was like they lived in like this. Do you remember? Okay, so did you ever watch like the New Munsters or anything like that?
I probably did
back in the day.
Yeah.
Well, they lived in like this haunted looking house, and that was basically it. Like it was like a sitcom.
Oh
yeah, and so they made.
But with Norman Bates and
no, it wasn't based on that. I think it was just based on like they lived in the Bates house or something. It was not very good. I don't think it was on very long, and I think I watched it and was like, oh. But anyway, but then they did the Bates Motel. Man, what's her name? she's great. Her little sister's in all the American Horror Story shows too, but I can't think of her name. She was in The Departed. She played Norma Bates in.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
But she was wonderful. I love that show. I really do. But the movie is just great. The sequels weren't so great. They should have left it alone. You know.
What do you think about the Vince Vaughn Anne Heche?
Because that was a shot-for-shot remake. But they did little things like Vince, like kind of, you know, like when he's spying on people,
he does a little something extra.
He sexed it up a little.
Yeah.
So it was interesting, but I didn't think it was quite as good. Was that Gus Van Sant that?
I think so.
That made that one. You know, it was okay, but I didn't think it captured the spirit of the first Psycho.
The Hitchcock version.
Yeah. I mean Hitchcock, and again after I watched that, of course, I wanted to watch Vertigo and The Birds and, you know, so many. Was he involved with The Twilight Zone, or did he have his... I think he had his own Hitchcock Presents.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I remember
watch
that.
as a
Yeah,
kid,
I do too, yeah. I think back then I might have kind of blurred The Twilight Zone and his, but yeah, so Hitchcock was amazing at suspense, and like I say, even with this movie, little things, but you saw how it influenced a whole lot of horror movies to come. And even ones that we mentioned.
I think Hitchcock actually planned on that to be kind of a comedy.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be, people were scared to death of it. So
that's crazy. So did we talk about earlier? I don't think we did. Like some of our other like honorable mentions. Did we mention Ghostbusters?
No, I didn't put it on there because I consider it a comedy.
Yeah. But like when I was little, I remember it was kind of scary.
The library scene scared me.
Yeah, the library scene, and like when she turns into Zool, and it was creepy. And the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was just cool to me.
I'm reminded of that with my son, is because he's scared of the same exact scenes I was as a kid. Which the library scene's always very scary.
Yeah.
What else? The courtroom scene, where the brothers come out and they're in the those kind of scenes.
But like Slimer was always just like, you know, as a kid, Slimer was cool. Like he wasn't scary, you know. So, but I freaking loved the Ghostbusters. Well, I watched the cartoon and got all the toys and all that. But like, is there any other ones that kind of like you wanted to do an honorable mention for yourself?
Yes. So. I love Paranormal Activity, the original.
That was a good one.
I don't know. I know it's cheesy, whatever, but I liked it.
Just the only thing that I didn't like about it personally was I just remembered that you were there for one of them. So I used to do paranormal research. I used to go do ghost hunts and stuff.
Yeah.
I've stayed at a few haunted hotels.
We've done paranormal things together,
and I think I'm going to tell this story about the first one that me and you did. Like, well, we'll get to this, but as a paranormal researcher, like the thing that I found was most of the time you're just sitting in the dark and nothing ever happens.
Yeah.
So like for the movie, I was like, this is cool, but I was not very plussed. But there's two stories I believe that I'd like to tell. The one time that I thought for sure me and you saw a ghost, we were at the Joy School, and it was like an old abandoned school where supposedly like the principal had died in the basement, like fallen and broken his neck, and then me and you were in like the abandoned gymnasium, and like actually there's a few stories that are, now that I'm thinking about it, because we've done a few of them. Yeah. Actually, the first one I ever did was you took me on one for my birthday.
Okay.
But the Joy School one, we were...
I remember that. Okay.
We were in the gymnasium, and we saw like what looked like these ghosts going across the stage. And so I remember we were like, oh, look at that.
Yeah.
And so we were like, oh, we found something. But then like 5 minutes, it was like a long time too. 5 minutes later, like a car would go by.
Yeah, we noticed there was maybe the lights.
Yeah, and so then we saw it again. Looks like these lights, like these ghosts going across the stage of this gymnasium, because you know like a lot of them have a stage up there. And then 5 minutes later, a car goes by. So we noticed like after a few times, like every time this was happening. So even though it seemed like it was a long time, that light had to be reflecting off of something.
Yeah.
So that was one. Two was I can't explain this. We were at a like Indian boarding school, Native American boarding school. And me and you, because like me and Josh, like we like to like get away from the group.
Yeah. If there's a group together, we're gonna branch off of that.
Yeah, and so we went off, and we were like in this bathroom. And also one thing that you do is I think is funny is you like to
instigate.
Yeah, instigate. That's a good way to put it.
Which I know is not right, but I feel like, you know,
yeah,
you're going to give a little negative energy, you might get a little bit something back.
Well, so me and you are sitting there we're in the shower room where some of the rooms, like there was no ceiling. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, you could see birds coming in and out and stuff. But we were back in the shower room and it was completely dark. There was no light coming in, nothing like that. And I remember you were doing that, and there's something that came up behind us, like, and I thought it was a bird for sure. And I turn on my light and swing around, nothing was there. Do you remember this?
I kind of faintly remember it.
That was creepy to me because that's I can't explain it. There couldn't have been a bird there, or else we would have seen it. You know. So, and then I'll tell this one because it's not funny, but it is in a way. Now that. So for a while I was with this one paranormal group and I didn't really want to do stuff with them anymore. So me, you, I think Steve McAnally, and was Carissa involved?
I think briefly, yeah.
Yeah.
Off and on.
We were going to start our own group. And so we finally got a client out, I think it was out in Choctaw, right?
Yeah.
And we go to her house and she's telling us about all the haunted things going on in her house. And she's like, you know what, guys, I don't feel good. Like something's coming over me. And like, for a minute, I'm like, because like this happens sometimes where people are like, you know, they want to like fake like something's really going on, but she was like, she really sat down and was like, and I was like, are you okay? Do we need to get you some water? And she's like, yes, please. Well, she was having a heart attack, and we had to call the medics to come.
So she did have I thought it was maybe a panic attack.
No, she had a heart attack.
She had a heart attack.
She lived, thank God.
Okay,
but yeah, we were like. So that was our first and only case.
Yeah.
I think we were like, after that, we were like,
after that.
Let's just not do this anymore.
I don't want to kill anybody. Let's not do this anymore.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. We didn't get the opportunity to go back after we're later.
Did we have a name and everything? Or did
I can't remember what. I don't remember if it was. I can't remember what it was called now.
Conformist Peach Cobbler?
Yes. That was the name of our punk rock band.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That never formed. We never learned instruments. Well, Brad did. I didn't know.
Yeah, I know. Like, I remember all the time, like, after when I was in the Killer Gandhi, I was like, I wish I was in Conformist Peach Cobbler instead.
Right? You hear that, Killer Gandhi?
Yeah. But, man, so that's our paranormal. So paranormal activity, that brings us back to that.
7 is on my list too.
Oh man, so 7. That's a great movie. David Fincher.
Mm-hmm. Kevin Spacey, Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman.
Kevin Spacey. That was the first thing I saw him in, and he was creepy.
Yeah, who knew that he was actually a creep?
Yeah,
like, he seemed like a okay dude until last 5 years. Yeah, all these stories started coming out.
Yeah,
like, oh man, this guy's kind of.
It makes sense, but like now that you look at it, you're like, oh, now I get it.
Yeah, that's how he played that role so well. And then I had High Tension.
High Tension, that was a good one.
I think it's called Switchblade Romance also.
Oh, yeah?
I love that movie for some reason.
That was a good one. That was a really good one.
A Predator, obviously. And then a lot of the modern ones like Hereditary, It Follows, Babadook, Don't Breathe.
Yeah, I liked It Follows. I liked Babadook. Don't Breathe. I'm trying to remember which one that was.
The blind guy in... they break into his house.
I didn't see that one.
Okay.
I didn't see that one. Did you see Oculus? I mentioned that one earlier.
I did. Oculus is great.
I dug that one a lot. Like a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah. No, it's good.
And Babadook, that was a great one too. I like some of those where it's like, is this a horror movie or is this just somebody who's just crazy?
Yeah, somebody who's losing their mind. Yeah, I like those movies.
Yeah, because that's like my everyday life.
What?
Is this a horror movie that I'm in?
Every day, really.
Yeah.
You say.
Yeah. So is that your honorable mentions there?
Yeah. I mean, again, I had 50.
Yeah.
And I broke it down. So
yeah, there's tons more.
I could go on and on.
Yeah, because like I said, 28 Days Later, American Psycho. Those are ones that really should have been on it. Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice is an amazing movie.
Beetlejuice
it still holds up. My son watches it.
Oh, I love Beetlejuice. Like Edward Scissorhands, Ed Wood, those, but they're not horror movies necessarily. And like Beetlejuice, again, that's a great one. That's like horror themed, but not necessarily a horror movie.
Now, there's that snake scene scared me when I was a kid.
Oh yeah, like there's definitely some creepy parts,
but it's not a horror movie. I mean, in the whole like lobby of the dead thing, that was kind of crazy as a kid.
Yeah. Yeah,
like with the flattened guy going through the halls and the football team and all that stuff. All those cool things.
I'll just throw out one more and then we'll get out of here. Underworld,
huh?
I love that movie.
I love Kate Beckinsale. So.
Oh yeah, look at her in the leather.
She's pretty awesome. If you follow her on the social media, she's a good follow.
They've made a ton of those Underworld movies, though. They might have made too many.
I think because they did like 2, and then they did a third one, which was like a prequel. And
that one I didn't hate, and then they made another one with her. She came back, right? And I don't know if I even watched that one.
They couldn't get Scott Speedman back, though.
Oh my god! I just thought of a movie that needs to be in my top 10. American Werewolf in London.
Oh yeah. That's one of I know you. Knowing you, I know that's one of your favorites.
Oh my gosh, I gotta redo my top 10 real quick.
All right, we can start the podcast over or something.
Silver Bullet. That was
Silver
a great
Bullet
one.
is I'm not a huge werewolf movie fan, but
those
Silver
are some
Bullet's legit.
That's a great one. The Howling. Like the Howling, like there was a bunch of sequels and they got stupid, but the first Howling, we didn't do a whole lot of werewolf movies.
There was the Howling, there's the Changeling, there was Ginger Snaps, there's all those werewolf movies that we didn't include any of them.
Man, American Werewolf in Paris. Mm-hmm. That was a decent one.
What was that? Like a remake,
reboot, something. But definitely Werewolf in London. That's a classic. Mm-hmm. That's a great movie.
Yeah, it's pretty, and it's funny too.
Yeah, there are some good parts to it. But when he changes into a werewolf in that apartment, man, that's great.
And that was all like not animatronics, but like prosthetics, and that was all done. There was no CGI in that shot in that scene. No digital effects. I'm
glad I at least remembered to put that one in because people probably would be like, what is wrong with y'all?
Mm-hmm. I know. We're already going to get grief for not having...
Oh, I'm sure.
Not for having Friday the 13th or Night of the Living Dead or...
Yeah. Well, this is, again, it's not like me and you combined our lists to make an ultimate top. This is the top 10 to us. Mm-hmm. But I think I would have to kick somebody out and make a room for American Werewolf in London. That'd be tough. Maybe, I don't know. I don't even know. I'm just going to have to make a top 20.
I know.
Let's just keep the show going.
Yeah. I mean, I could keep going, really.
Yeah.
There's, again, 50 I had. And I had a lot of sequels on there, too, that shouldn't be on a list.
Oh, here's what we'll do. We'll do a sequel of sequels.
Okay.
To this podcast.
I like it.
All right?
All right. I'm in.
All right.
All
We're
right,
in.
cool.
All right. We'll do the top 10 best second, third, and fourth movies. All right. Cool. Well, Nugget, thank you so much for joining me.
Yeah.
Thank you all to tuning in. You are on the Joey and Heather morning show every morning, weekday morning.
Yeah.
98.9.
Kiss FM,
yeah. Kiss FM. Anything else that you would like to plug or websites or social media?
No, man. I'm just glad. Thank you for having me back.
Yeah.
I was looking forward to it, and I had fun the last time, so I really appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, I had a great time this time too, so I'm going to have you back hopefully soon.
Okay.
All
Thanks,
right.
Brad.
Thank you. Y'all have a great one. Oh, you got to do like Cameo and say, keep it nerdy, y'all. Or just say, keep it nerdy. Or keep it nerdy, everyone. Or however you
I don't want to do any of that.
Or just say, keep it nerdy. Or I'll just do it. Keep it nerdy. Well, that's Cameo.
Keep it turdy.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Can we cut all that out? Or
no, it's staying in.
All right.